don't want to talk about: cheating. Hackers try to find vulnerabilities in the game and then sell those cheats online. Gaming the Game is this week's cover story, and Josh Lipton has our investigation.
Eliminate the terrorist.
Take a close look. This is the exact same video game, but in the version on the right, the player has special software or cheats that makes it easier to win.
This is the bot behind us. This wall right here, we're going to see him in a second.
In this modified game, you can see the enemy through walls, a distinct advantage. Bill Demercapa is an 18-year-old recent high school graduate, but don't let his age fool you. He's an expert in hacking video games to create cheats, something he knows could ruin the game.
I don't think that I'm either a good guy or necessarily a bad guy, but I think that a lot of what I do can be interpreted as being the bad guy.
To find cheats, hackers find vulnerabilities in the game's code. It's an advantage people are willing to pay for.
For the higher-end cheats I've made, I've sold them for hundreds of dollars a month, usually $100.
E-gaming insiders and cybersecurity experts tell us that cheats are a huge threat to the growing video game industry.
Why would you want to play a game you can't win? It's just not fun anymore.
Alex Hammerstone works for information security consulting firm Trusted Sec, which helps video game makers keep their products secure.
Up here, you're buying different cheats or add-ons or things for the game. These add-ons can be a lot like a professional athlete using steroids or some other performance-enhancing drug.
He showed us websites where players can buy and sell cheats. If I want to buy a cheat, it's not tough to find them. I really can just Google this and find the site.
Yes, there's an absolute large market where you can just go and buy these.
From a tournament of the video game Halo on the 99th floor of the Willis Tower in Chicago to a 16-year-old winning $3 million at the World Cup of video game Fortnite, the industry is on fire and expected to bring in $174 billion in global revenue. But in order for games to succeed, players say developers must stop cheaters.
If a game has a lot of cheating, you just really have to hope that the people who run the game, the developers, work their butts off as fast as they can to get that dealt with, because it is an issue.
At most tournaments, the organizers control the computers and consoles the game is played on and keep a strict watch. Microsoft's 343 Industries is the maker of first-person shooter game Halo.
Halo has never really had a huge issue with hacking, thankfully, and for us as developers, competitive integrity and the experience of players online is crucial.
Epic Games, the maker of Fortnite, declined an interview, instead sending a statement saying in part, "We will continue to pursue all available options, including revoking access to Fortnite to make sure our games are fun, fair, and competitive." Demercapa says he hasn't sold cheats since last year. Today, he has no regrets.
I'm trying to transition more into the information security field. Game hacking has been an extremely valuable learning opportunity.
For On the Money, I'm Josh Lipton.
So that cheating demo that Demercapa showed us, that was on Rainbow Six Siege. That's a game that's made by Ubisoft. The maker of that game told us in part, Rainbow Six Siege does not tolerate cheats and exploits used in-game. Players found using cheats are penalized and or banned accordingly. We should also know that the Demercapa's demo was against bots or computers, not against humans. Of course, it's not just hackers cashing in on gaming. Video game players not only pay to play, but they will fork over big money to watch others play as well. Some of the most watched players bringing in hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. Joining us right now to talk about how fast the gaming industry is growing is Chris Velasco. He's with Engadget. And Chris, thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, this is a little weird, the idea that people would actually use real money to go online and buy cheats to cheat on a video game. But there is real money involved here. How big of a deal is this?
It is a pretty big concern, especially when we're looking at the sort of amateur leagues. There are always people playing at home who just want that edge because they know the potential for growth and development in this strange new industry is, the upsides are huge.
The people who are watching their favorite players, I guess maybe they watch them on a streaming service, maybe they watch them on YouTube. How big is that? What kind of money are we talking here? What's the potential?
hundreds of thousands of dollars are being issued as player salaries. We've also seen some pretty big moves in terms of acquisition costs because Microsoft and its mixer service recently picked up Ninja, which was the biggest game streamer on Twitch, and just a few days ago picked up Shroud, which was, depending on how you look at it, the number 2 or number 3 player on that service as well. So Microsoft,
Big corporate money.
absolutely, yeah, they want to get out in front of this.
I guess part of that is because of what they see happening with esports. These are actually leagues where people are kind of playing, and you've got teams that are based in cities and things. You think of this as like the NBA or something?
I mean, that's exactly how they want us to look at it. Robert Kraft, the owner of the Patriots, helped start the Boston Overwatch League. Michael Jordan is an investor in Team Liquid. There are big sports names who are really lending credence to the idea that playing video games at a high level really should be considered a sport.
Where you have people who are kind of packing stadiums and you're going in to watch people play video games in a stadium rather than watching them play football or basketball or something?
A stadium might be a bit generous, but we're definitely seeing
pictures.
these are big venues that are being filled, and that's because people have come to really appreciate video games not just as an art form, but as an expression of competitive skill. The human experience has always been about competition, so it's not unusual that the nature of that competition has kind of changed over time.
What is this going to look like eventually? Like maybe the soccer leagues, or the WNBA? How big do you think this is? How much money is behind this?
There's a lot of money at play here, and I think it's probably fair to say that based on companies like Microsoft getting into it with services like TBS and ESPN, really getting into airing these events in wide circulation, there's a lot more attention. The money will continue to flow because most of it comes from advertisers, sponsorship deals, media placement rights. That will only continue to develop, and the economy around these younger players themselves will continue to develop as well.
So who's playing on these? Are these a bunch of guys like we saw in the video here? Or this is high schools, this is colleges? How does it actually shake out?
There are over 100 high schools in the United States with some form of esports program, and there are at least 4 universities that I'm aware of that have sort of dedicated esports major programs.
4 universities?
Mm-hmm.
Which ones?
The biggest one by far is the Ohio State University, but there are a few in the UK, definitely several in China. We're seeing there not just a focus on the level of gameplay itself, but also the sort of soccer skills that go with it. You might want to look at it as almost a very specialized business degree where you're managing your reputation, you're looking at marketing as factors as well in this situation. So there's big business to be had here.
Chris, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Up next, we're on the money, the cost of sleep.